Hello, everybody. How you doing? Of course, I am Doc G. I have the Robert Wiedemann with us, Dr. Robert Wiedemann, and of course our friend Marvin Rock. We are the Wellness Revolution. Hi, gentlemen. How are you doing tonight?
Doing very great. And I'd
Excellent.
like to
Thank you.
welcome everybody here and say thank you to you for allowing us to have this platform and looking forward to tonight. We're going to be, and all this information is for entertainment purposes only. We don't make any diagnoses or treatments with this, but we hope to be helpful to you in making some suggestions for you tonight. Tonight, we're actually continuing on our bone and joint program. And, we're going to be discussing this evening the use of turbo creams. This was a suggestion from the other night. And also some other topical appointments, things for the skin. And we're going to be covering that tonight. Hopefully, these things will be helpful to you. So, Marvin, uh, welcome, Marvin.
Well, thank you.
Like to, I want to just introduce Marvin a little bit. Marvin is a retired Navy SEAL, and is very helpful to. He's helpful to all the veterans right now, and we care about our veterans. We absolutely want to do as much for them as possible. And part of what we do for this program is actually for the veterans. We want veterans to learn how to handle themselves naturally and healthfully with these approaches. Now, Marvin is not only a former Navy SEAL. He also has experience in construction, and he also has helped with Dr. Wallach personally with many of the Amish, and has learned a tremendous amount of things firsthand with Dr. Wallach applying these protocols. And we would like to invite you to be part of our team in helping to help others. The purpose of this, we're not just trying to sell things. We're actually trying to help, build a lifestyle for people that can give them both health and wealth as well. So with that, let's begin tonight.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction, Dr. Wiedemann. So what we talked about last time is we talked about healthy bones and joints, or the musculoskeletal system. We kind of start dabbling into the immune system. We talked about some top applications, things like we talked about that lady. Remember, we talked about the thumb. She had an issue with her thumb. She applied the turbo cream on her thumb in the middle of my presentation, and that's all she would do after that. It was go like this, rest of the presentation. Everybody was laughing at her. I don't think they learned anything except the fact that she can move her thumb now. But with that said, it was kind of comical. And so what we want to do is kind of dive into the turbo creams. The turbo creams were created it's a company called Good Herbs. Brett Bashawati developed herbal tinctures, and he had been around for quite some time. And so Longevity merged in with Good Herbs. They brought the product online. And Brett Bashawati had an incredible knowledge about herbal tinctures. Now, bear in mind, herbs are not nutrition. They're plant medicines, but they're safe plant medicines. Pharmaceuticals are toxic to the body. So what I want to take you to, I'm going to do a quick screen share with you, and I want to show you where all these links are that you can watch these videos on how to use herbal tinctures. It's just phenomenal. So let's go ahead and do a little screen share here. Okay, hold on here. Let's see. I'm going to do, well, let me see. Yeah, screen share. There we go. Share screen, entire screen. And we're going to click on that and share. We're going to go over here. Can you see that? Dr. G, can you see that? Dr. Wiedemann?
Yes,
we can. Yes, we can.
Underneath training, training tab, we are going to come across Good Herbs. Over here on the left, you see right here, Good Herbs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Brett Bashawati's interview I did with him. I mean, there is a tremendous amount of information here regarding what these herbs can do, along with the basic 90. Now, bear in mind, The herbal tinctures is not a nutritional protocol. It is a simple medicinal remedy that has been carried on for centuries. Quite frankly, we brought them over from all kinds of ancient grandparents, passed on down to multiple generations. And if you think about it, if you study plants, plants are nutritional, provide nutrients and medicines for humans and animals alike. So Brett Bashawati goes into great detail about each one of these herbs and how they're used, and it's just phenomenal. You can go, and I highly recommend you watch every one of these videos here. And the one I want to kind of focus on right now is the bone and tissue support. That's what we use for part of the turbo cream. Okay. And then we go talk about, let me see. Intro to the turbo cream. This is the one that I'm going to watch this real quickly here. So we want to watch this little video right here. And let's go ahead and open that up. Is that coming across on your end, guys? I can't.
Yes, and Marvin, you want to mention that everyone has the possibility of getting this website for themselves.
So unique, and why is it that the CM cream and the young jelly essential oils and the tinctures, they work so well together?
Yeah, so on the turbo cream, there's a base, and the base is our CM cream. And we do this for a couple things. One is with the amino acids in it, it penetrates very deep. So we can get great penetration of the nutrients. It also does a great job of reducing excess inflammation around the area. Mm-hmm. Then the other staple is cypress oil. So we always have the cypress oil is in all the turbo cream formulas. And what the cypress oil does is it allows extra circulation to go right to that area that we are promoting or supporting. So we get extra blood flow. When we get extra blood flow, then it helps the body do its own magic in supporting that area. Then we can add one of the good herbs tinctures, and in some cases we can add a couple extra of the essential oils. So for like example, if we were doing some bone or joint support, and let's say we needed some extra support on the joints of my fingers, we would do 1 jar of the CM cream, 10 drops of the cypress oil. Then we would do 2 teaspoons of the bone and joint support from Good Herbs. You put it in the jar, you mix it up, and then you apply. Now, what we can do for advanced therapeutics is if we have extra inflammation, let's say on that, where we can add 8 drops of the lemongrass oil, or if we have extra pain going into that area, we can add 8 drops of the sweet birch oil. Then you can put it all together, and it truly, truly does remarkable things for people.
Well, I know those turbo creams I've been so impressed with, especially the respiratory support and also the bone and joint support. I remember when I first met you, I was in a cast.
Yes.
I had broken my left leg in a ski accident, and you said, Marvin, you got to do the turbo cream. And I says, well, what's that? And so you explained it to me, and I still have my notes. You wrote it down and told me exactly what to do, according to the x-rays. I was taking x-rays of that brick every week, and you could see the calcification of the bone, all that stuff. And I was able to get out of my crutches 3 weeks early. 3 weeks early.
Fantastic.
And so it's like the doctor was just amazed. Well, you're healing really good. Now, I'm 55 years old, This is a year ago when this happened. 55 years old, and I'm able to get out of my crutches 3 weeks sooner. I mean, think about this. I mean, if I was young in my 20s, because the human growth hormone has peaked out in mid-20s. Yeah. But for a 55-year-old guy, have a brick heel. I mean, I was looking at roughly about 8 to 9 weeks in the cast. I was in the cast 6 weeks. I was walking 6 weeks later without a cast, and I had a little bit of pain left, but that pain was gone in a couple of weeks. And, a lot of people say when they have broken bones, when the weather changes, they have pain. Yeah, I don't have that. I could not believe the success I've had with that bone and joint turbo cream support. I was just amazed.
Yes. Yeah, and it's one of my favorite, and it actually is, out of all the turbo creams, that one's the top.
So what we want to do is going back to, let's see here, getting back live to Dr. Wiedemann. You were with me when I broke my leg on that ski trip, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
So
And you were, if I remember right, you were just healing really good, and then your son did martial arts on you and broke your leg again.
well, we can leave that part out a little bit, but since you brought it up, let me tell the whole story here. So I was doing real well. 4 weeks into this thing, I thought I was doing so great, right? And I was actually on a walking cast. 4 weeks into it, I was supposed to keep this cast on for 12 weeks. Well, anyway, I was on walking cast, and so my son was testing out for his green belt martial arts, and so I was actually taking my cast off. I was standing there next to the wall, on both my feet, just a little bit of weight on my left leg there. And so I said, Eli says, "Okay, great moves, but I want to have you do I'm going to punch in, with you, and you block me." Well, when I punched in, the look on his face was, "I'm going to show Dad how good I am," right? And it happened so quickly, I did not realize what he's going to do. When I punched him, he blocked me and gave me a roundhouse kick right on my leg and broke the darn thing again. According to the x-rays, he snapped. Now, it wasn't completely healed. I don't give him credit for that. But I went on, hit the ground hard, and it hurt worse the second time than the first time. We went back, got re-x-rayed. Sure enough, I had a clean break, had to go start all over again. But I was basically back in the cast, and 6 weeks later, I was completely out of it, walking around. And it should have taken me a good 9 to 12 weeks to be in that cast. But what we did is I could not so I had a break right here. I mean, think of this as my ankle right here, and this is my knee, and my ski break was right in the middle here. It's a smaller bone of my leg, so it's called ski boot break. So
Yeah,
right
that's a fibula.
And so what happened is that normally this break would take about 9 to 12 weeks to heal, but since we had a cast from here to here, from here to here, you could not apply it directly. But what Bashawati had me do is my toes were exposed. I put the CM cream on my toes a couple times a day, and above the cast. Now, what that would do is increase circulation. The goal was to increase the blood flow. That blood flow was running rich, heavy with the 90 essential nutrients, and I double up on my bone and joint protocol. As a result, it was kind of the same concept as in sports injuries. What they do is, when we have a sports, like maybe an ankle sprain or something like that, when you play in professional football or something like that, they do hot and cold treatment. Why? Increased blood flow, right? But if that increased blood flow had all the 90 essential nutrients, additional products that support and promote healthy bones and joints, you're going to get recovery much quicker. I have professional bull riders which have ridden for the PBR, and they are on these products religiously, and they tell me that they don't get hurt as often as those that have been not using the products, but when they do get hurt, they recover about twice as fast. They're back bull rider, because a bull rider is not going to make any money if he cannot get on that horse or that bull. And so I see this all the time in professional sports. These young athletes, you have all these young athletes out there, and now if you go to college as a young athlete, you get paid money, big money, to play in college football. And a lot of parents are really pushing their kids to get into that college sponsored football. Well, if you're not physically able to support and promote, if your bones and joints cannot handle it, it's going to cost you millions of dollars in royalties from those college games. So if you are a parent out there or grandparent out there, and you have a young, hard-charging young teenager that wants to go play football, I highly recommend you get them on the Dr. Waller's Basic 90 Nutrients and additional products to support the healthy bones and joints. And you're going to have a rock star out there, and his chance of getting into professional pro series is much greater because he doesn't have the injuries. And that's how you increase your competitive edge. Getting back to those turbo creams, Dr. Wiedemann, you've had experience with turbo creams, haven't you?
Well, I've had experience with the CM cream, but not with turbo creams. I haven't had any reason to use them. What I have had experience with is the Trinity lotion. And if you want to bring that picture up,
I don't have that picture of the Trinity lotion. I was not able to do that. Okay, you got it.
yeah, it's kind of an old bottle, but I mean, these things last for. I mean, you buy one, they don't cost very much, and they last forever. But this is one of the best things for bug bites and itchy, where it starts itching and you just can't satisfy the itch. This will do it. I remember someone getting a spider bite, a really bad one, a really toxic spider bite, and a lot of swelling. We put that stuff on it, and it within 3 hours it was completely gone. I mean, this stuff is just absolutely. It's got aloe vera in it. It's got 20 minerals in it. It's got about 12 vitamins in it, and it's got what is it? Glucan. Let's see. It's beta glucan in it, which is for the immune system. So there's something in this that will actually, I think it goes after parasites, is what I think. Because I mean, I've had so many times where I've had really bad itchy, the kind where you want to dig in and scratch it till it bleeds, I mean, you put this stuff on, it just totally relieves it, and it's amazing stuff. But I've had experience with the CM cream itself. I don't think that I've made a turbo cream. I've put some trauma oil in it, and in the CM cream, and it's worked really well. Did you have some pictures that you wanted to show, Marvin?
Well, we haven't quite got to that yet, but
okay.
Yeah, we want to. Just looking at, I'm back here looking at some of the videos I want to show. I mean, some of the videos, but I can't see where I'm. Oh, I see. I know where I want to go. Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about, we talked about the bone and joint and how important. We talked about the immune system. But before we go down that path, I want you to, if you want to have a copy of that bone and joint protocol, the recipes, all that stuff, I want you to, that website that's on the bottom of the screen, once you go and contact Dr. Wiedemann, he will provide you a courtesy copy of the products. It tells you how to mix them, the essential oils to get, and all that stuff. Now, bear in mind, this is kind of like your first aid cabinet. Everybody needs to have a first aid cabinet and a first aid kit. And I have a whole host of essential oils and good herbs products just as part of my first aid. And we haven't even talked about some of these simple first aid remedies that we use for H. pylori. We haven't talked about some of these first aid remedies we use for things like dry heaves. Somebody has a serious viral infection, things like that. That's whole nother presentation later on down the line. So there's a lot of things that we can use as natural remedies. You don't need to be running to the doctor all the time just because you got flu-like symptoms. And same thing is true for a bone and joint. A lot of times people will run to the doctor, and what do? And give you an example. My daughter, Abigail, when she was born, she started walking tiptoes. And that's kind of a bad habit in my line of the family. Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. It's cute when they're little, but boy, I tell you what, when they get older, it's not very cute at all because they're still tiptoeing at teenage years. Well, so we finally took her to the doctor, and guess what the doctor wanted to do? He wanted to literally cut the tendons in the back of her calf and extend them out so her foot goes flat. And then I said, well, we're not going to do that. So then he tried to sell us on a boot that would, put her foot in a boot that would, it's kind of like a walking cast that would maybe help flatten her out her feet. Well, she couldn't even get the foot in the boot without pain because that's how bad her tiptoe was. And so we just said, look, Doc, I think we're done here. We're going to, but he was determined to convince us that we should let him operate and slice those tendons and reattach them and whatever. And he claims he's done it before. I said, no, Doc, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, well, see, the medical doctor's philosophy is that the body is stupid. I remember when my son was born, he was born with pigeon toes really bad. So we took him to the orthopedic surgeon, and what he wanted to do is put him in a brace, put his shoes on, put him in a brace to force his legs out. And he fought that so hard, cried, and I find it broke my heart. So I took him off, and we took him up to Dr. Virgil Strang in Davenport, Iowa. And Dr. Virgil Strang was noted as the pediatrician chiropractor of all time. And one adjustment, and those legs were normal. First adjustment. He adjusted his atlas and he adjusted his hips. And those legs were turned out the way they were supposed to be immediately. That was our first experience with chiropractic, really, in terms of our family. I had gotten into chiropractic because of an injury to myself and was going to school at the time and had found out about Dr. Strang. And so I'm so glad we took him to him first, and instead of doing anything else stupid. A lot of times what medical doctors do, and they would have probably done an operation on Jeremy and turned his legs out somehow, which would have been a terrible thing to do. Because if you get somebody in adjustment then, and it goes to normal, it's still abnormal. No matter what you do, the body has the ability to heal itself. And you have to find the cause of these things. Probably, what was the final outcome? How did you finally solve the problem, Marvin?
Well, that's interesting you asked that question, Dr. Wiedemann, is because in the 7th grade, we enroll Abigail in Utah Military Academy. So they get to wear combat boots twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, in formation, you have to stand at attention. If you've ever been in the military, that means hands to your side and straight up, but she couldn't. She was like bent over kind of like that, because she could not straighten physically straight up side. So she was determined to, we taught her how to lean up against the wall, and because she's tiptoeing on her combat boots, was just relax her calves. And so basically what was happening is she just relax her heels as she up against the wall. And by Christmas, she was able to walk normal, and she was able to stand in formation straight up. And to this day, she just turned 19. She has no problems with tiptoeing. She has no problems with walking heel to toe. But all we had to do was just stretch those calf muscles. We don't have to be on great.
And probably if you'd had her to the NUCA doctor, that would have straightened itself out without any, because there's a normal balance of tone when your nervous system is in control. And when that atlas misaligns, the brainstem gets involved and causes, really what happens is you have an overflooding to the extensor muscles in the spine, and there's an imbalance there and will cause a postural distortion. So probably had you, and yes, exercises are beneficial. Many chiropractors do exercises with their patients to help with the things that aren't directly, that may be a result of a subluxation, but correcting thereof doesn't necessarily take care of it overnight, like it did with my son Jeremy. It was an immediate thing with him because he was so little. Probably came about as a result of the birth process.
So one of the things that there's so many things that can go wrong with the musculoskeletal system. Now, we talked about this last week. If you're a chiropractor out there and you want to increase your income, bottom line, because if you talk to a financial advisor, they tell you it's a good idea to have multiple streams of income. Chiropractic itself is good income. Don't get me wrong. But what if we can teach you to expand your business to be a health and wellness coach along with that, and using the Dr. Wallach products? Now, I want to talk a little bit about standard process. Dr. Wiedemann, you know the difference. You have more experience with standard process, how it compares to longevity. Can you kind of explain to the audience the difference between standard process and longevity products?
Yeah, standard process, it's a good product. People obviously benefit from it somehow. Their concept is a good concept. They want to get things out of the soil. So they grow their own stuff. They grow their own plants and so forth. The downside that I see to it is that if it's not in the soil, it's not going to be in product.
Right.
And furthermore, Dr. Wallach's protocols are far more extensive and complete than standard process, from what I've seen from standard process. So in my own opinion, I would, opt for longevity. And I don't know why I didn't do this in my practice. The only reason I didn't do this in my practice is when I was in Montana, is that I didn't have the instruction directly from Dr. Wallach like I should have had. Had Dr. Wallach taken notice of me at that time and taken me by the hand and said, "Hey, I can help you," it would have made a tremendous difference in my practice. And now we don't have to have the hand holding because of the website. The website literally will hold your hand through these, and of course we can, help you with some of that. But it's this website is so tremendous because of the resources that go into it. The knowledge that just from that health survey, Marvin. What goes into that health survey? Can you explain how that was developed?
Well, the health survey itself was when Ray Dubchuk and I were the ones who actually put that together. Ray's a software engineer, and he basically came to me in 2011. He had just lost his only son to Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And so Dr. Wallach gave him my phone numbers. Look, call Marvin's. He's been working with a lot of the Amish in Adams County, Indiana, with muscular dystrophy and different types of all these health issues. And it says, I don't have time to go through all the stuff that Marvin's been doing with the Amish, but Marvin would be more than willing to work with him. So I got to know Ray very well. He lives in Temple, Texas. And after about 6 months of just talking, this poor man is still grieving the loss of his son. And I was more kind of a moral support for him and his wife. And so he made a comment, says, Marvin says, you have a lot of knowledge about Dr. Wallach's message. And how did you learn this stuff? Well, I just been reading his books, and I've kind of made my little cheat sheets. If you have this problem, I have a little letterhead written up how to do this and all that stuff. As well, that must have taken a lot of time. How long did it take you to do this? Well, it's about 10 years I've been doing this. So, oh no, Marvin says, we have to get this out, we need to be able to do this, like now. I could just click a button and information is there, because I was sending them out to the mail, or email or whatever. And it's a very slow, tedious process. It's not very duplicatable. And that's the biggest challenge with multi-level marketing. You need to be duplicatable. And I agree with him. He said, well, Marvin, I used to teach. I was a professor at a community college here in Texas, and I used to write tests, for the students online. And so I'm willing to donate my time with my expertise in order to develop a questionnaire. At that time, we'll call it a questionnaire about ailments, and depends on the symptoms you select, it pops up with the correct information. And so, but Marvin, I don't understand, let's say you talk about hypertension. I have no idea what Dr. Wallach's protocol is for hypertension. So I need your help to help me tell what the final outcome of the algorithm should report. And so that's what we did for the next 2 years. We worked on this thing. And man, I tell you what, it was a very intense, and I asked Ray, so Ray says, my biggest concern is we're putting all this time and effort into it. Can you think somebody can pirate this stuff or copy it? Says, nope, it's not even possible. I says, well, why do you say that? I said, well, it's because they would first have to understand Dr. Wallach's message. And second, they have to have the knowledge I have. And third is that they have to understand the databases and all these algorithms, which gathers information. And basically what we did is we gathered information from Dr. Wallach's books. It's a whole bunch of them, his radio shows, and compiled them to a massive database. And these algorithms basically is kind of like an early version of AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence is nothing more than you put a question into a database, it brings out the information you're looking for. That's all AI is. It's nothing magical about AI. And everybody wants to say AI is all the thing that baloney. All you have to do is learn how to write a little algorithm. If this condition is, and if this condition is, then you must have this end result. And that's all AI is. And Doc G, you're laughing at me, aren't you? But
no, because you're 100% right. I've been saying that for a long time because people think that it's something special, like it's alien and stuff like that. It is just a database you're tapping into, like Google and Alexa, same thing.
Exactly. So
you get it, though. Nobody else understands that.
Exactly. So Come on, you genius out there. Mark Zuckerberg has, all he does is collect a huge database of information. That's why they need your personal information. And they need to know how sick you are. They need to know how desperate you are for a cure. And they point you to who? The damn medical doctors. Excuse my language, but that's how I feel sometimes. And guess what? They drive you down the road of pharmakeia. Well, if you're a man of faith, a woman of faith, you know that the Greek word pharmakeia is forbidden in the Bible. Okay, wake up, guys, gals.
Yeah.
If you are wanting to walk a righteous path and be favorable before God, guess what? I would like to do everything I can to avoid pharmaceuticals. Now, I'm getting off my rocker here a little bit here, but my point is this, is that, you know, I'm not condemning anybody who is on taking pharmaceuticals, but you were not born with pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
You didn't acquire those until the doctor told you needed them, right? And I have so many people I come across that are taking pharmaceuticals, and I ask them, and I'll give you an example. This guy in Illinois came to my seminar one time, a lecture, and he comes up to me afterwards, Marvin, I'm on 12 different pharmaceuticals. Well, what are they for? Well, I don't know. I said, hold on, time out. You need to know what each pharmaceutical is designed to do. I said, I want you to go back to your doctor and get a list of what each one of these is supposed to do for you. He calls me up about 2 weeks later. He's mad as a hornet. He was so mad. I tell you what, if there was he was mad. I mean, if he had a stinger, he would be stinging the doctor probably. But my point is this. He said, Marvin, they have 2 medications for blood pressure, 2 medications for diabetes, 2 medications for this, 2 medications for that. There's 6 health issues that he had, and each one had 2 separate medications for it. I says, why in the doctor would not give him a list? It was a nurse that gave him the list and what they were for. And I says, well, let me ask you a question. He says, are these generic drugs? Oh, no, they're the latest and greatest. Exactly, because they make more money promoting the latest and greatest pharmaceuticals. Okay?
Yeah, here's the problem with pharmaceuticals. It has nothing to do with your adaptation. All it is to suppress symptoms. It has nothing to do with adaptation. Your body has the ability to adapt by itself. It has its own immune system. It has a communication system between the brain and the body, and there's feedback to the brain. What does a drug do? It interferes with that normal transmission with between brain cell and tissue cell. And one of the things one of the statements I like to say is that anything that interferes between the brain and the body lessens the vital powers and brings about a deadening of the sensibilities of the mind. What are the sensibilities of the mind? The ability to sense what's going on in the body. Your brain becomes less aware of itself, and a vertebral subluxation can cause that. So many of the problems we have are caused by vertebral subluxation directly. I raised 3 boys under chiropractic care. If they ever got sick, I got them right down to the office and corrected their misalignment if they had one. And they would be back in school the next day. The teacher watched that, and she says, I have never seen anybody take their kid home sick and return them to school well like you have. I'd take them down, get them adjusted, and they'd be well. Unless, sometimes, with one of the things I found about fevers is that sometimes the fever will go up afterwards for a little while. And in that case, usually it's 12 hours before they'll be able to get back to school. But she became so impressed with that. She became a patient of myself. And then she had some instances like she would come to my office sick, get her adjusted. She'd go back to teaching. And the students said, we've never seen a teacher come back after they've left sick. They'd have a substitute come in and take over. And she'd come to the office, get adjusted, get well, come back to her teaching. So the thing with it is that Marvin, then I jumped into the mix there, and you want to tell what disruption I caused with the health questionnaire?
No, that's fine. I mean, we got off a little rabbit trail here. It got kind of exciting, didn't it? But the health questionnaire, if you haven't really dove into the health questionnaire, let's go pull it up real quickly here. And Doc G, can you see my screen, or do I need to go share screen again?
Share it again, and then I'll bring it up.
Okay, let me share screen again here. Okay. So our entire screen, boom, bingo here, share, and we're going to come over here. And let's go to the health survey.
There you go.
And we pull that up. And bear in mind here, when you first come to the health survey, if you have not been here before, you can see here, health concerns tab. It's highlighted in red, the subcategory health survey. And so a little video comes up and shows you how to actually, is part 1 and part 2. So if you're a healthy person, for example, if you're a young athlete and you want to really striving to go to all pro and you want to know what you need, all you need to do is fill out, watch part 1, because all you need is the basic 90 nutrients. My son Eli, he is taller than I am, and he is actually in the 11th grade, and he does a lot of physical activity. And we taught him how to look in the ingredients, and basically, if he doesn't take his products for a couple days or so, he starts complaining about his being fatigued. So we sit down with him, ask him, okay, when's the last time you take your basic 90? And additional calcium, because we need extra calcium for growing kids. He's really growing right now. Matter of fact, last year this time he was an inch shorter than I am. Now he's 3 inches taller than I am. He grew 4 inches in a year. And I can tell you right now, if you don't have good nutrition for a growing young adult, that young adult that grows 4 inches in a year is going to have major musculoskeletal issues if he puts in any kind of stress on those bones and joints.
Yeah, it's called growing pains.
Growing, exactly. But he went to camp. He went to camp for a week and didn't take his supplements with him. He calls me up in the middle of the week. Says, Dad, I says, I got growing pains. Can you? And it says, what do I do? I said, well, guess what? You're supposed to pack your supplements. You didn't. Yeah, I know. Well, okay. And now when you get home, you're going to be getting back on your supplements as you're supposed to. So teenagers sometimes don't realize the benefit of the products until they realize, they have like growing pains, right? So, we kind of go through that. But getting back to the health survey, you watch the video, part 1, and then come over here. There's a disclaimer here. All you have to do is click on this box here, and you go straight into, well, we don't want to, this is just an example purposes. Put in your information. So anyway, so we put your personal information in here, okay? And if you're just a young, healthy adult, all we have to do, ladies or gentlemen, if you're female, go ahead and click on female. Now it comes up expecting nursing mothers, but for young professional athletes, you don't need to worry about that. But if you're an expecting mother or nursing mother, you want to definitely check these, because there's an additional protocol for expecting nursing mothers, because you need to supplement for 2 people, not just 1 person. Okay.
Martin, why don't you go ahead and fill out a fake one right now?
Okay, so let me just put in here a 35. Okay, let's just put in a 16-year-old. He weighs 125 pounds. He's 5'8". His name is Robert Wiedemann, right?
No, put in there. Put in Masters in there.
Masters. Okay, Robert Masters, and then email is 1234@gmail.com. Let's just do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Example, cell phone is
555
555 area code 123-4567. There you go. And we're not going to worry about that. Well, you can select the carrier. Let's just say let's put T-Mobile. T-Mobile is a very popular thing. No prescription medication. And that's all. That's all we need. Okay. Very healthy. No symptoms. Come down here to the very bottom. Scroll to the very bottom here. And
you left one thing out. Make sure that you always put indigestion in first.
Okay. Well, we're not, unless we have symptoms. If we have symptoms, then we'll put indigestion.
Yeah, go ahead and put it in there. We're going to pretend there are symptoms.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's say we have, let's go down to bone and joint. Let's go down to musculoskeletal failure. Let's say we have got, let's see here. Cartilage and ligament damage. Let's just select that one, okay? Let's go ahead and select joint pain. Okay, we have this young athlete that is struggling, and so we selected those two. If you do that, you always want to come up and make sure you select indigestion. And so let's select those three right there. And current supplements, we're just going to say none.
Vitamin D, vitamin C.
If you're taking some vitamins, whatever, Walmart stuff or Costco stuff, that's fine. You can put it in there. No N/A, not applicable. Other health issues, you can type in here, joint pain after football practice. Okay, let's just say that, joint pain after football practice. And let's just come in here, twisted my ankle while let's twist my ankle last fall. Playing. Okay, that's all. It's just basic information. Now, down here, very important here, by clicking continue, you are agreeing to buy permission to Robert Wiedemann to review your health survey, which may include sensitive medical information regarding my health conditions for the purpose of nutritional advice as per Dr. Wallach's recommended nutritional protocols. This is required by HIPAA. HIPAA requires personal consent for anybody outside the family, if you're a minor or whatever, to consult with you. Now, if you are a minor, you may want to make sure you get your mom and dad's permission to fill this out. Okay, as long as you have your mom and dad's permission, you can fill this out and click on continue. Phone is not valid. Okay, that's because it does verify your phone number. So I'll just use my Dr. Wiedemann.
Well,
use your phone number.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, give it to me.
I'll put it 406-270-3754.
Now that's part of AI, isn't it? AI does that for us. That's cool. Okay. So now it's going to open up into.
Now here's this is where I got in the mix here. You want to scroll down here. Yeah, go ahead and explain that to them.
Now, what I want to do is, let me just go through here. Cartilage and ligament damage. Now, if you want to read where you can find this in Dr. Wallach's books, these are page numbers. DDDL, it references Dead Doctors Don't Lie book. LPD, Let's Play Doctor book, page 305. And Let's Play Herbal Doctor, page 50. Okay, and then DOEA, Disease of Exotic Animals. These are the different textbooks. This is the NIH research right here, Disease of Exotic Animals. That's a really good source. It's a solid scientific source where we find all this information. Same thing with joint pain and indigestion. And so you can reference those if you have Dr. Wallach's books. But if you don't, not a big deal. But a lot of people, sometimes people that are a little bit on the scientific side want to research information, and that's why we put it there. But actually, in order to be HIPAA compliant or scientific, it's called structure and function compliant, we are not making any claims. We have to reference the science. And that's why we reference all these symptoms go back to the source of information. So when you read these books, those books got footnotes. It tells you where all the scientific studies are archived or where you can get them. And that's the reason why we put these symptoms up there with the references. So now we have here, Dr. Wiedemann, you want to explain this severity and frequency for us here?
This is what caused Ray all of his headaches, because we battled over this for months. But in the chiropractic profession, we have to carefully document location, duration, character, and frequency of pain. And so, Marvin, what I'm going to do here, I'm recommending that everybody put today's date in there. So just go ahead and put today's date in all of those.
And so if you don't know the date when it first started, you can just do today's date. That's how simple it is. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and put today's date in there in all of those. Go ahead and repeat it with all of them.
Okay. So,
let's say that the joint pain has been going on for about, let's say that the let's say that the damage is not recent. It was 5 years ago. So what you do is come up and just put 2020 in there, just change the year. So it makes it much faster to fill out by putting today's date in there, and then just put in 2020 instead of 2025 at the top on the cartilage and ligament damage. To the right, up, top one. Yeah, see, so it makes it much easier. If you don't remember the exact date, just put today's date in all of them and change the year. If you can remember, well, it was 5 years, 10 years ago, or 30 years ago, whatever, you just put the correct year in there. And then we want to take a look at what our most important problem is, and that's the cartilage and ligament damage. I would just check that one off on primary concern at the top.
So now let's talk about the severity and frequency.
Yeah, let me talk about primary concern first, because you don't want to check them all off necessarily. So now what we want to do is talk about severity. Yeah, you want to check indigestion off. You want to know whether it's mild, moderate, or severe. Well, if it's mild, it's 10. If it's moderate, it's 30, and severe is 50. Okay, or anything in between. Now, in frequency, let me explain frequency to you. Let's say that you have a pain someplace, and it only occurs when you go to sit down. It doesn't hurt when you're standing. It doesn't hurt when you're seated. But on the way down, in the process of sitting down, your hip and your thigh ache really bad, 100% of the time. Well, that would be a 4 out of 10. Go ahead and click on 4.
Are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah, that would mean it was always there. Now, that doesn't mean that you have pain there 24 hours a day. It means that every time you go through an activity of daily living, and it hurts when you do that activity of daily living 100% of the time, that would be always. Well, if it only happens 75% of the time, you're going to mark it as 3. So go ahead and mark 3 instead. If it happens 50% of the time, you're going to mark it as 2. And if it's only 25% of the time, then it's 10. And that's how that works. Okay. So we're gonna check all these off. Let's say that it's 75% of the time. So mark 3 there. And then how bad is the pain on a scale of 0 to, we say 0 to 5. There are 2 ways of figuring this in notes. Either 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10. It's easier just to do 1 out of 5 with this. So then let's say that let's say it's a 4 out of 5 pain level. So, and the indigestion, let's put that at about a 2. And joint pain, let's say that the joint pain is a 4 also. Okay. So I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's not consider joint pain the major thing right now. We can only afford to do so much. So we're not going to include joint pain. We'll just include the cartilage and ligament damage there. So there, and then what you will do is, in a couple months, you're going to redo this to make sure. And let's take a look at we got a total score of 60 there.
So Dr. Wiedemann, let me kind of explain a little bit. One thing is, if you look up here on the top of the date of onset, make sure you have the date format as it shows right there. A lot of people make the mistake and don't follow the date format. The algorithms will not recognize the date. Just keep that in mind. On the health score column, you see it always is going to start with a 20 until you adjust the severity and frequency. And then when you click on update, it's going to give you a higher or lower number, and then it's going to sort these symptoms based on the severity or frequency. Now, on the left-hand column, you see a primary concern. If there's no checkbox, if these boxes are not checked, it will not populate the additional products of the basic 90 for you to add. You have to have these boxes checked here if you're going to use the additional products of the basic 90. Okay, so with that said, coming down here, if you make any changes up here, you always have to come back down here and click on update. But before we do that, we have to always select one of these four. I have been or will be taking my products daily as recommended. Now, you may have never taken longevity products, but you're going to tell us that that's your goal. Okay, so we want everybody to select 5. Now, if you come back and let's say 6 months from now, and we fill out this health survey again, and you said, well, I've been only taking my products 4 to 6 times a week as recommended, then you can select that. Or if you say, I had not been taking my products or following in my diet as recommended, these are more for follow-up health surveys to help us kind of give us an idea of what progress we're making. But when you first do the health survey, always select the first one. Now I'm ready to click on update. Click on update and let's see what happens to that total health score. That total health score jumps up to 180 now. And notice joint pain is at the top. But joint pain is not going to be our primary concern. We're going to focus on the cartilage is second, indigestion is third. So we're going to focus on these two right here. And we come down here, and now we're going to select the powder tangy or the liquid tangy, okay? Because we have got, even though you're a young, healthy adult, we start you out with the liquid tangy if we have any health issues. Now, some of you kids out there, if you're teenagers, it does not taste like Sprite or Mountain Dew. Now, if you can drink a Rockstar or Monster or Red Bull, you can swallow the tangy tangerine. Trust me, right, Dr. Wiedemann?
Yep, that's right.
So now I'm going to select this, and that's automatically going to populate a chart for me, and it's going to show me the basic 90 body weight. Okay, it tells you what this is. Now, the left-hand column, see the priority? The first thing always is what the greatest priority is the plant minerals. We always talk about these plant minerals, how important they are. And for this individual's health survey, we put this in priority because that way, if we need to budget for somebody with limited income, we know exactly what the most important product is that we start be taking. Okay.
Yeah, one of the things we want to make sure that we don't do is we don't rob people's piggy banks.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you strictly go by your budget so that you don't overspend. We don't want people going hungry because they're taking vitamins. We have many people that have seen improvement just on the minerals alone. And there's a place that you can click on the minerals, Marvin. Can they order right directly from here if they wanted to?
That's going to be another training. Yes, they can, but that's going to be a little bit more advanced training there. But I recommend before they do that, they contact you directly, Dr. Wiedemann, because you're going to be kind of walking them through and making sure they get they become part of their team and they place order correctly. So I don't recommend you go down this rabbit hole just yet.
Yeah, but they could order if they wanted to.
Yes.
Let's say, that I just want to get the stuff, and they're in a hurry to get it. They could order it that way.
Now, if you look at this is Dr. Wallach's recommended basic 90 body weight for this very specific individual. Additional information, make sure you read the comment section here. Read that tells you how to take it, how often to take it, and just very simple here. And then we come down here, additional product of basic 90. Now you notice here there's a lot of stuff here. Oh my God, a whole bunch of stuff. But every one of these products here supports healthy bones and joints. Now, if you cannot afford all this stuff, you start out with one. Okay. If you don't have any issues with your digestive system, you can avoid. Now, you don't have to worry about the ultimate enzymes because they support and promote healthy digestion. So, for a young, healthy athlete, you might be able to get away without having any issues with that digestion. But if you have gas, bloating, heartburn, or indigestion, you always want to make sure you take the digestive enzymes 3 to 5 minutes before you eat. Now, the next one is the selenium, liquid glucogel capsules, vitamin D3, collagen peptides, and MSM Ultra. These are all products that I'm not kidding you. If you take these as a young professional athlete, you're going to greatly reduce the risk of injuries or expedite the healing of your injuries. So if you want to go down that path of even be competitive for consideration to become pro, you want to be taking these products while you're growing. And grandma and grandpa, if mom and dad cannot afford these for your grandkids, and you can, and you want to see your young rock star be competitive for the pros, then this is how you invest in your grandchildren. You take some of your inheritance and you teach these grandkids how to be healthy. Okay, that's the best way to get your inheritance, the best results from your inheritance. That's the best thing to say. Now, coming down here, it's really, if you want to get started now, you click on getting started now. Now, with that said, there's a whole video how to do that. I want you to get back to Dr. Wiedemann, and he'll teach you how to get started. And he may ask all the questions. You're going to have a lot of questions. Ask Dr. Wiedemann. He will be able to do that for you. Okay, that's the health survey. Now,
one thing I want to point out, Marvin, can you scroll down to the products again? Because it depends on your weight. Now, what you do is you're going to click on this on the minerals, on the picture of the minerals. No, yeah, click on the right there, and it's going to bring a picture up there, and it's going to tell you, you're going to be able to figure out how many ounces is in this bottle, because you want to figure out how much for your body weight that there is. Okay, so you got how many ounces is in this bottle?
There's 32 ounces right there.
Okay, so that would be an ounce a day. So let's go back to the recommendations. This is how you can figure this out. It says 5 teaspoons a day. Is that more than an ounce?
It's 6 teaspoons a day is basically
An ounce?
I think that's an ounce. I think 6 teaspoons is what, an ounce.
Okay,
so essentially, we had 120 pounds, right? And so 120 pounds is basically between 100 and 124 pounds. You supplement for a 100-pound person. So basically, what they're doing here is supplementing for about a 100-pound person. So you got to go through a bottle a month, basically.
Yeah, 1 bottle a month. So, but if you go down the Tangy Tangerine here, it has 1.5 ounces per month. It says right there, product name, and it has how many ounces is in the bottle. Okay, so you can just look right there. You don't have to click on the deal. Look under Tangy Tangerine and under product name, Marvin. No. Go back. Okay, right there. It says right there, 32 ounces in a bottle.
Yep.
But it says 1.5 ounces a day. So you know that every other month you're going to have to buy 2. You got to buy 1 for 1 month, but 2 for the next. So if it's the middle of the month, you probably could get by, with buying 1 and then buy 2 the next time, or you buy 2 the first time and then buy 1 the next time. So every other month you're going to buy 2. Okay, and then with the EFAs, there's the dosage is 6 a day. It has 180 in there.
That's going to be 1 bottle a month.
Yeah, 1 bottle a month. And then, and then with the Beyond OsteoFX, it's going to be 1 bottle a month. You see? So that's how you figure that out. And you go on the same way down the whole thing. And what you can do is you can go in and create an order in your longevity account and figure out what your budget is. And what I do is I put them all in first and see what the whole smear is going to cost. And then you start subtracting until it fits your budget. You go from the bottom up, subtracting out. Let's say we put all these in, scroll down to the bottom. You put all these in, you can call longevity and actually help them with your order. And you say, well, I can afford up to the collagen peptides, but I can't afford okay, this is in my way here. Okay, then you take the MSM Ultra out, and you just end up with collagen peptides, or then you subtract that out until it fits your budget. Everybody has a different.
Dr. Wiedemann, one thing I recommend here, Dr. Wiedemann, is that if they get into this kind of what I call budget figuring out, that's where it's really important you get a hold of Dr. Wiedemann. He's really experienced with walking you through, and based on the questions and based on the situations, he's going to give you some recommendations. Okay, I'd recommend this product or half of this product or half of that product. And so don't try to do this on your own, especially initially, because it just gets very confusing, very frustrating. That's why Dr. Wiedemann he is a well-educated and trained how to do this. And I really encourage you to use his expertise and when it comes to figuring out the full protocol.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and the main thing is to make it fit your budget. And, there are three types of distributors. There are those that don't want to do the business at all. Then there are those that would like to have their products paid for. And we have training to be able to help you do that. You can refer people to me, and I can help place them underneath you to the point where you can start affording your products. And anybody starting out with this, it's a little daunting to have to realize that, yeah, I really need all this stuff, but it's just no different than medication, in terms of having to budget for it. But if you can, you can't refer people to a medical doctor and have them defray your expenses with medicine by referring other people. Whereas with this, you can refer people to us, and we can help defray those expenses of your products. I mean,
Dr. Wiedemann, you have your products paid for yet, Dr. Wiedemann?
Oh yeah, they're paid for every month.
And you've even got a car bonus in your past, haven't you?
Yep, I bought myself a 2017. You actually went down with me to get it. It was a 2015 Subaru Forester, and just a wonderful car. So if you want to buy a Subaru or something like that, if that has a car bonus available for those that want to do that.
So just keep in mind, step one, if you want to make an extra income, learn how to get your products paid for. Step two is we're going to teach you how to get a car bonus, $300 a month car bonus. Now, that may not buy a nice big luxury car, but at least you can have a little bit of bragging rights. $300, about $400 a month car payment is coming from longevity. And so that is step one, get your products paid for. Step two, get that car bonus. And I'm not going to tell you about step three, because step three is just way too exciting. We don't have time for that. But step three is even much better than step 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's right. So,
now, Dr. Wiedemann, we're running out of time here, but let's do this. We got so carried off these rabbit trails that we didn't have time for the best part of the show, did we? So Monday we got to pick out where we're going to.
Yeah. Now
off here.
We've had
I'm
a lot.
I'll give you a little clue here. Here it comes. If you can see this. What's that?
Oh yeah.
What is this? Oh my! If you have never heard of the Nature's Pearl liquid grapeseed extract, you want to be here on next Monday, weather permitting. The creek don't rise, right, Dr. G?
Seems like it lately, yeah.
And
so
we're going
to talk about part of the musculoskeletal system is a healthy immune system. And we're going to go down that little path, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And I tell you what, you don't want to miss that, do you, Dr. Wiedemann?
Nope, absolutely not. Now, one of the things I want to point out is that we've had, Doc G has had some power problems on Monday nights. So if it's not on Monday night, it's going to be on Wednesday, hopefully.
I'm leaving the day open for you, Doc. I really am. I'm trying to leave it open.
Yeah, because
I'm giving you two choices.
yeah. I mean, the thing with it is that it's a roll of the dice whether we're on here on Monday nights, because it seems like the leprechauns have been interfering with his power lately. And I don't know, Doc G, what you've done to the leprechauns lately, that you've been batting zero on that, but you need to be nice to the little people.
I think we really pissed them off. I know that's what we did in the studio today. We're talking about God, and they just shut us off YouTube right away. So. You figure it out.
Yep. It's the little people, it is.
But I want to, everybody, thanks for being here. Just want to reach out to Doc Wiedemann, healthreform90@gmail.com for all the people listening. And his phone number is 406-270-3754. His website is getdocsminerals.com. All right, guys. Thanks again.
And thank you,
You
Doc.
bet. You take care, Giles.
Bye, everybody.